Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I am taking a look at Filecoin. It is up 30% this week. It is on the verge of a bigger breakout. In my opinion, I've been talking a lot about different assets, Filecoin being one of them, thinking that it's going into a retracement at some point. Basically, we have this bull run, right? We have this bear market, and now we have this base. So eventually, in my opinion, we're going to come up into a retracement, because if you notice, this is the bear market. Bear markets just don't go down, 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 right? They usually go down until they hit a bottom, which is this bottom over here, right? Then they come back up into a retracement. Then they can either go down or start a new bull run. And we're going to talk all about that. But for me, I think it's going to at least go into a retracement. And one of the reasons why is because of this Wyckoff accumulation event right here. You can see very similar price action. Actually, let me draw it in here. So you have this move to the upside, right? Move to the upside, move to the downside, taking out this low, move to the downside, taking out this low. Then you have this move to the upside, right, without taking out the high. We have this move to the upside without taking out this high. Fair enough. Then, right, the accumulation schematic, Wyckoff accumulation, the example is saying, look, we can either go down into a spring phase, then continue higher, which would be schematic 1, I believe, or schematic 2 says we sort of meander, sort of do, this like cupping in here, right? And that's sort of what we got here, this little cupping situation. So, we sort of just meander in here in this cup. Same thing here, meander in this cup, right? Then what do? Well, we come up here, and right about here, right, maybe a little bit higher, maybe consolidate a little bit, then continue higher. That's sort of my main thinking of what's occurring here. So, Wyckoff accumulation definitely, in the cards here. So we'll see if that plays out. Now I'll take that off the screen and we'll go on to our next piece of analysis, which is, to me, kind of, sort of, an ascending triangle, if you would. It doesn't look finished yet. It's not a pretty one at all, but essentially, if this is what it is, we have this coiling in phase here where we can get something like this. And that would, make sense, right? Given the fact that it continues to build out this base in here, just like how this base was built out, which led to this bull run, right? This bear market has a base which will lead to another potential bull run, but more importantly, before that, a retracement. You could see on the weekly chart, we are breaking above this area here. Actually, let me zoom in. Let's go to the 2-day chart, and you can see zoomed in here. We have this bottom here, this accumulation bottom, and here's the most important part. We broke above the bull market support band. We came up, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or better yet, it's most likely 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But here's the thing. Here's the bull market support band right here. We broke above it and we back tested it. Not just for a day, but multiple days. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? At least 12 to 15 days. So we back tested it, we continued to pump, and we broke this high right here, which tells me that this is not a correction. because 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C is correction. But if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you're starting to trend. So what I'm going to be looking for the price of Filecoin is to see if we can get a weekly close above $8.57 and even better above $9.79. Well, actually, I take that back. Let me actually go to the weekly chart so we can see where that close is. Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, right about there, and right about there. So about $8.50 to $9.81. So we really want to see this, breakout. And you can see, I put a line here. We're just essentially ranging. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I think this is Wyckoff, like I said. So the next order of business is to break out, do a little consolidation, and then continue its retracement. Now, we could do something a little different in the fact that we can come back down here, ABC, then continue its retracement. Either way, I think the overall macro view suggests that we are heading back up. Not to say it's a bull run, not to say it's even, a massive alt season, but something that gives the altcoins some relief. The reason why I think that is because Bitcoin is chilling out at its retracement levels. And usually what happens is Bitcoin gets up here, we go sideways for a bit, right? And then as we go sideways, that's when the alts catch up. So, I mean, if you, for example, like right here, you could see Bitcoin had its bear market, it had its range, and now it went up into its retracement, right? If you look at H bar, it had its bull market, had its bear market, had its range, and now it's starting to go into its retracement, right? So if you look at the total 3, same type of thing, right? You have its range right in here, and now you're breaking out of the range, and it looks like it wants to go into a retracement. It's going into a retracement. Same thing with Theta Fuel, right? It's at the verge potentially of a bigger breakout. Now compare that to Link. You already have your range and your breakout. So some are still stuck in the range, some are breaking out, and like Bitcoin is already at the top, right? So Ethereum is sort of halfway, or about more than halfway there. So going back to Filecoin, I want to see this range get broken. Now, let's figure out how that could happen here. But first, let me just put this line here. I mean, obviously, we broke out. You could see here. We came out. We back tested it. We continued higher. Then we back tested the bull market support band, continued higher. If I turn this on regular scale, take all of this off the screen, I mean, look at that. It's actually a pretty, it's like a hyperwave. It's a massive bubble, right? Boom, all the way back down. And usually you get these little ones after, if not a completely bigger one. So we'll see how that works. I don't know. But at the end of the day, this thing looks very bullish. It's down at its support area, right? All of this is support, right? Bring it all the way across, support. And it's just, this is, prime area for bottoming. So, to me, it's completing the bottoming process, and it's eventually going to continue out. So let me go down to the 2-hour chart. So before I just want you to look at this chart real quick. Okay, now I want you to look at the price of theta. See the difference? So basically I was going over theta and I was saying this is an A, B, C, or better yet, a flat, right? So we have a flat structure here, a back test of the bull market support band. It looks like we want a continuation, expecting it down here. If you go to Filecoin, it's the same thing. You have an A, B, C. You have this big flat here. We back tested the bull market support band. Now we're starting to take off. Now it took out this high, which is a good thing, right? So what could potentially happen here? Well, zooming in again to the 2-hour chart, taking that off the screen. Looks like we're starting to create 5 waves. You have a 1, 2, and then you have this built up for 3, 4, and now we're probably in the middle of the 5. So then once 5 finishes, wherever that may be, then you're going to want to see an ABC or some consolidation, then a continuation to the upside. Maybe that pullback comes even deeper. Regardless, I think it's going to continue pumping to the upside on this macro phase of the retracement, because my whole thing is phases, right? So I'll show you here. So for example, Bitcoin, you may have known this, but you have it goes in phases, right? So you have a bull market, a bear market, a retracement, a reaccumulation, and then a blast off. And in that reaccumulation, you usually go sideways. And it's kind of like what I think is happening with Bitcoin current, right? So rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, blast off. Same thing that's potentially happening here. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. So if we are doing this, then we got to come down. But if we come down, then how can Filecoin go up? Well, because usually alts catch up as Bitcoin is at its top, right? Bitcoin likes to stay up here for a while, allowing the alts to catch up, then it comes down. So going back to Filecoin, that could be potentially what's happening here. So you have a rise, a crash, a retracement, then we come down for reaccumulation, we go sideways, then we break out into a new all-time high. So that would be sort of my grand thesis here. Would be rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, right? And now reaccumulation can happen up here, it can happen here, it can happen down here, or it can come back all the way back down there. It really depends. Usually it's somewhere in the middle, right? A good example of that would be XRP. One of the reasons I'm bullish on XRP is because, well, first let me show the example. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off, right? But if you look at what's happening now with XRP, you can see it the same thing. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, right? So to me, Filecoin is like right here. It still has to go up massively, which is like 800,000, maybe even 1,200%, maybe, right, into a retracement. But then it has to come down and then go sideways and then go. Usually how they work, right? But what if there's a coin that's already at the finish line? Well, to me, that one's XRP. Now, it could be wrong, right? Remember, this is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong on everything I say. Always know that. But so far, it's been good. Let's go back to Filecoin real quick. Oh, where are you at? There you are. So, okay, so here's the main thing for me right here is, so this is Bitcoin right here, right? That's Bitcoin, and this is Filecoin. I'm just putting them side by side. So you can see they're both starting off flat, right? Then what happens? Then Bitcoin starts to go. Then once it gets all the way to the top, the very top, that's when Filecoin goes. So, for example, if I put the line, the big breakout occurred right there. Okay, so that's when it really started to fly to the upside. The price of Filecoin, it went from 46 all the way up to, what was that, 238. And that's where it really started to fly. Where was Bitcoin during that time? It was in distribution. It was already at its distribution phase. And that's usually how it goes. Bitcoin goes first, alts go flat. Then Bitcoin tops out in distribution, and this could take weeks. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? And during all of that up, down in that distribution, Filecoin keeps flying to the upside. So, what do we think about now? If I zoom out, what do you think is happening now? The same thing, right? We see both of them going flat. Bitcoin goes up. This one continues flat. Now we want to see Bitcoin flatten out here. Once Bitcoin flattens out, that's when Filecoin can catch up. Once they're both caught up together, then what? Then either they go down into reaccumulation and blast off, or they continue their bull run, right? So we'll talk about that when the time comes. But for me, I think there's a very big possibility. I mean, look at Filecoin compared to Bitcoin. I mean, it's like nothing. It's just flat. So there's a lot of room for it to go up, right? So we'll see how that plays out. So, for me, I'm bullish until we get to the retracement levels. Then I'll be highly cautious. Now let's talk about the bearish idea. If this is bearish, which I don't think it is. Why? Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So at the very least, you want A, B, and you want C, right? You have 5 down, 3 up. So if it's going to continue to be bearish, then you can get the next 5 down, right? Which I don't think, that's going to happen. It's probably going to be 5 like that, then go sideways for a bit, then start to go up. Something like that. Now that could take a year, it could take 6 months, it could take 2 years. It depends. I have no idea, right? But let's say if it was really, really bearish, then you would say, okay, that this would be 1, 2. All of this is 3. Now we're in 4, and then we're going to get 5. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to make, we're going to go down deep, 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 right? So we'll break, $3, $4 if it wants to be completely bearish. Now it could happen, right? It can happen. The reason why is because if Bitcoin decides to dump and not give the alts any time to catch up, and it continues to crash massively, and the alts crash harder, then we could see this big move down. But if that happens, I'm expecting a massive move. So either way, either we come up here, we go down, we go flat, and then go, or we come all the way down, we rip the Band-Aid off, and then we just don't even worry about it and continue higher. Right? So for me, I'll draw it one more time. I'll draw all the options that I know. Let me put it like this. So option number 1, in no particular order. We have a 1, 2, now we're getting 3, 4, 5. Option number 2, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. Option number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instant repulse, pull back, and then go. Massive, 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 right? And that would be, and if this were to happen, it would be actually better in a way. Why? Because you only have to deal with that and that to get this, versus having to go back up here, then come back down, then go sideways, then go. It's actually about the same, right? So it really depends on how you see it. I mean, actually, I would prefer this just, to get some more pump, more percentages, right? But this would be like if you wanted to really scoop in low prices before that big bull run. So which one's it going to be? It could be neither of those. It could be none of those. I gave 3 options. It could be none, right? But I think it's got to be at least one of those options. And what do I think is going to happen? I think my main one is rise, crash, retrace, some kind of pullback, and then a continuation. Now that pullback can come down deep, right? It depends. It really depends. But that doesn't mean it's going to break out today or tomorrow or even next week. It could take, a couple weeks for it to break out. So we'll have to play it by ear. But here's the cool thing. The cool thing is this. We have Wyckoff spring base breakout, right? We also have a breakout of the bull market support band and a back test and a reaction. We are also challenging the resistance of this area. So we are getting close. We'll also have a low, a higher low, and a higher low, right? We're coiling into the resistance, or like maybe an ascending triangle. So I think, again, we broke above the bull market support band. We back tested it. We are challenging this high, right? So what could potentially happen is we come back, have a little pullback, retest the bull market support band again, then come back up, take out this high, back test, consolidate a little bit, then continue higher. Is usually, how it goes, right? Then you have, I guess they would call it 3 rising valleys. You have a valley, and another valley, 3 rising valleys, right? And that's kind of, I wouldn't say normal, but I wouldn't say rare either. It's actually more normal than anything. So, and again, you also have the Wyckoff here. You have this spring phase. You have this base, a breakout, right? So the big thing now is breaking these 2 highs. And the reason I'm confident that I can do that is because Chainlink did it. I believe Solana did it. Who else? HBAR is doing it now. And there's many others that are attempting to do it. So yeah, we're right at that verge of something big happening. We have a low, we have a higher low, higher low, higher low, right? So it could be like an ascending triangle coiling up before the breakout, right? So we can easily come all the way back down to $4.70, right? Or actually, let me do it perfectly and draw a trend line right here. I'll put it right there, and I'll just put it right there. So if it really, really wanted to, it can come all the way down here, right? And then get going. Totally possible. And that would be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And this whole thing would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hopefully we get that 5 and not just a 3-wave move. So we'll see. We'll keep looking at it. I mean, looking at the monthly chart, it does look bullish. I mean, we had this 9 buy right here, right? And we are approaching the red dots that it printed. So if we could break above these dots and activate that buy signal, that would be a pretty good thing to see. So as far as oscillators go, the RSI on the monthly, because when I look at the oscillators, it's better to look at a higher time frame, like, you know, 1 week to 2 weeks to up to a monthly chart. You can see, you know, we came up where we went flat. We have plenty of room to the upside, and you can see we are angled up. You could see the trajectory is up, which is good. So now let me get rid of that and show you this. So looking at the MACD, I mean, look at this thing on the monthly chart. This is probably one of the most important signals. I mean, how many things have I stated in this video that were bullish? Many things. So this is just adding to the pile, right? So look at this. Our MACD, right? We came up, obviously. We came down. But look at this. We had a crossover, right? And then look at the histograms. They're red, right? They're expanding, and now they're contracting, right? Now we flipped green. So let me actually make it bigger there. So I mean, look at that. You could see we flipped green there, right? Or flipped crossover there and there, and that's on the monthly chart. So what we want to see is it continue to build and build and build, and for it to cross over, and or for it to continue to cross above the 0 line, right? So we'll keep an eye on that. It's very bullish. Now check this out on the monthly chart. So this is the icing on the cake right here. Look at this. So you see these blue things? That's called the Lucid SAR. I just call them stars. They're the stars, right? So when it's very simple. When the price is below the star, it's bearish. When the price breaks above the star right here, look at that. Look at that. Stars are coming down. This candle took out the star. So now the stars are on the bottom, and that's usually a very good indicator that we are starting to go to the upside. Not too much good examples over here, but you could see, look at this. We broke the star and we went up from that move, from the break of that star. We went up approximately, you know, almost 4,000% before it you know, or actually, I'm sorry. The stars continued to be on the bottom until the top of the bull market right here. So actually, let me get rid of that so it can be cleaner. There we go. There we go. So you could see we broke above the stars, right? And we continued all the way up. And look at here. The stars held it as support. Then, once the bull market was over, we came down. That's when the stars flipped bearish. So now fast forward today, look at that. And you know what I really like is how orderly and, you know, orderly the stars are. Look at that. It's not jumping around like boom, 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 right? It's perfectly symmetrical. It's perfect. It's perfectly going down. And now it's starting to curve back up, which tells me we're going to continue back up. So there you go. That's it for this video. Appreciate you guys. If you can, leave a like and a subscribe. And I wanted to, you know, deep dive on Filecoin. There is more information, but I'll bring it on another video. But basically, the big thing is look at this. Boom and boom. Now you could see here, right? If I take a trend line right here on this weekly close, right here, you could see we broke above, but then we came back down. We tested the bull market support band. Now the candle broke back above this high. So the next order of business is to break above this high on this time frame. So that really that $9 to $10 area is that resistance we want to see break through. But yeah, other than that, I mean, come on, we got a low, a higher low. We got Wyckoff. We got a break, bull back test the bull market support band. We have the MACD. We have the RSI. We have the flip of the stars, right? We have Bitcoin in its in its retracement levels, going ranging sideways, which is what you want. You have HBAR, Chainlink, others, starting to break out. So it's, to me, it's the probabilities of this thing, because nothing goes down in a straight line, right? So we go down, 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 down. It doesn't make sense. So we go down, we go sideways, we develop that base, then we start to retrace. If you see a base, look for a retrace, right? The bigger the base, the higher in space too, right? So let's look for that retrace. Now, there's always a chance you don't get it and it continues to go down. That's, of course, that could happen. Nothing is ever a for sure thing. But at the end of the day, all we have to rely on is indicators and other charts, oscillators, right? So we'll see what happens. But for me, we did pump up quite a bit today. So, I mean, if you're looking at the day-to-day or the hour-by-hour, it is a little, I guess you would say, overbought maybe. But it can, when it's right at that resistance point, let me just zoom in here a little bit. When you are at that resistance point, take that off, right here and right here, a lot could happen, right? We can either slice right through it, or typically you get like this A, B, C, and then go, right? Some kind of pullback. And then to me, that would look like a cup and handle. Or better yet, you have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways breakout, some sort of correction in there, right? Or, a little pullback and continue on. I'm not really day-to-day, hour-by-hour. For me, the main thing is the 4-day chart and above, which is telling me a retracement is coming. Somehow, some way, I think that's the case. So, yeah, we'll keep monitoring and see how it develops, but that'll be it for today. As for Bitcoin, we want to see it continue to just stay bullish. And the good thing about Bitcoin is it has plenty of wiggle room. So in the event Bitcoin comes down and it retests the bull market support band, that would actually be good, right? Because then we get a bounce off, come back down, bounce off, come back down. So what's happening here is we're just ranging up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now this can break out, or this can come down and then go into reaccumulation, which I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to probably break down. If we do break out, great, that would be awesome. But if we do break down, that's fine too. But at least let's have the alts catch up in this range before it breaks down. Because remember, the alts don't take that long to catch up. Usually Bitcoin, it goes gradually up. Altcoins go flat and then they just instantly catch up. So, like for example, HBAR here, this is kind of what I'm thinking Filecoin has a good potential of doing, which is breaking above this here, right? And you can sort of see like an inverse head and shoulders right in there, right? Resistance, we broke above the bull market support band, back tested it, breaking out. So now we're broken out. So that's good. That's an indicator we could, we can always come back down and back test, then continue higher, right? So if HBAR can do it, I mean, let's look at Filecoin and Theta Fuel. Let's see if we can get it, and even XRP, which is a drastically different looking chart. Won't go into that one, but if you want to watch that one, just watch the previous videos I put out. Same thing applies. But basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, let's go. Hopefully. We'll see. So that'll be it for real this time. I appreciate you guys. If you could, that would be awesome. If you can leave a subscribe or click the subscribe and hit that like button, I really appreciate it for a channel like mine, just to, get some traction here and continue moving forward. Be amazing. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.